Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Here is your catastrophic global warming update for the day. Just reading these headlines off of Drudge. Minnesota, worst deep freeze in 20 years. Wind chill may hit minus 50 degrees, up to 30 inches of snow in New England. A warning that exposed skin freezes in 15 minutes. 9 people are dead. The New York City mayor, it's too cold for school. They've shut down school in the city of New York. His son, who's 16, kind of lobbied him for that and maybe got somewhere with that whole deal. We're spending $7.5 billion, ladies and gentlemen, your tax dollars, around the world fighting global warming. $7.45 billion to fight a problem that does not exist. Every penny of that $7.45 billion with a B dollars totally wasted. The Antarctic ice shelf melt, they were down there. This ship was down there in Antarctica to study global warming because the Antarctic ice shelf is melting. It had the slowest melt rate ever recorded last year. It's melting at the lowest rate that they have ever recorded in history, and they're stuck in the ice. And now the ship that was sent there to rescue them, now it's stuck in the ice. So the original ship, that Russian ship, it's still stuck in the ice. Their crew is staying on board. They think they can ride it out until it begins to break up and they can leave. And then there was this Australian ship that went down there to try to rescue these people that were on the first ship who were down there to study global warming. And that's where the helicopter went from this ship, went to the Russian ship to bring the people off in groups of 10 or 12. They got them all off on this ship. But the ship waited so long for all these people to get ferried. Now it is stuck in the ice. So you got both of these ships stuck there in the ice. Nobody knows how long it's going to be before those people are able to get out of there. Scientists at the British Antarctic Survey has revealed that rather than accelerating, quote, oceanic melting of the ice shelf into which the glacier flows decreased by 50% between 2010 and 2012. Observations made in January 2012 show that ocean melting of the glacier was the lowest ever recorded. The top of the thermocline, that's the layer separating cold surface water and warm deep water, was found to be about 250 meters deeper compared with any other year for which measurements exist. That is, the cold water 250 meters deeper than it ever has been. So anyway, that's what's going on down there in Antarctica. Now the ship that's sent down there to rescue everybody, it is stuck in the ice. All right, let's go back to the phones. Want to thank these callers for calling and for waiting. Let's start with Steve in Houston, Texas. Number to call, by the way, 888-589-8840. Most memorable development of 2013. Any predictions for 2014? Steve, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I listen to your show all the time. This is the first time I've called.
Well, thank you for listening, and thanks for calling.
Yeah. I think that I'd like to answer the most important news story in 2013 isn't what was said, isn't what was reported. It's what wasn't reported, what was hidden. And that's due to the Obama administration and their behind-doors secret government that they're using now. And the things like Benghazi and the NSA and the IRS taking all the medical records, and there's no good answers. Nobody said it, and they try and sweep it under the rug and bring out to sidetrack us and distract us with other issues and keep us from finding out what the truth is about those things. Yeah. Those are the stories that are the biggest, I think.
Okay, so what you're saying, Steve, is that the most significant stories of 2013 are the stories that should have been reported on but weren't, because the most transparent administration in history was concealing all this information from the American people.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's a very, very good point. All right, Steve, listen, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. And thank you again for listening. Let's go to Larry in Camden, Arkansas. Larry, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Steve kind of took what I was going to say. I think that Benghazi is a shame that the Democrats let Obama, their leader, perpetrate on the American military and American public. It's a shame and disgrace that he let people get killed over there and knew it was happening, and then he put all his mouths up front like Hillary Clinton and all the others that got up and said it was a movie that did it,
Yeah.
or a film. And it's a shame. It's a shame that this presidency and the people who still stand behind him, knowing that he lied, they got to know he lied, don't they?
Well,
I mean,
it's like, people can look right at something and not see it. I mean, you and I can plainly see that there were lies and there were cover-ups involved at this movie. You and I know that the movie had nothing to do with it. You and I know that Al-Qaeda was involved. You and I know that this was a coordinated, planned attack. There was no spontaneous mob scene there at the compound, that this was a coordinated and planned terrorist attack. Al-Qaeda was behind it. You and I know that, and the evidence is out there, the testimony is out there for everybody to see. But I don't know if you remember that scene. There was a movie, Andromeda Strain, came out in 1971, really boring movie. I watched it again a number of months ago, but there was one scene, and they're trying to identify this strain, this virus that's come from outer space and is going to wipe out the human race. And so they're running all of these little Petri dishes, and so they have to sit in front of this screen and look at them come across one at a time. And the virus that's responsible for all this comes across the screen, but the scientist that's looking at it, her eyes just kind of glaze over, so she's looking right at the screen, but she doesn't see it. She doesn't even observe it, even though it's right in front of her, even though her eyes are looking right at it. So, Jesus one time said, you wouldn't have sin. He said to the Pharisees, you wouldn't have sin unless you say that you could see, but because you say you can see, but you are clearly blind, your sin remains. There's a statement, no one is as blind as him who will not see. And I think that's what we've got, Larry, with a lot of people that are kind of the liberal persuasion. They just refuse to look at the evidence. They refuse to consider the evidence. They can refuse to face the evidence. They refuse to face the truth. And so they go right on being self-deceived. And the mark of somebody who's deceived, Larry, and I'll give you the last word here, but the mark of somebody who is deceived is they don't know they're deceived. They think they believe the truth. Anyway, give you the last word.
Well, I think that they know. I think there's no doubt that Hillary Clinton, our Secretary of State, and probably the top Democrats knew that this was what it was, but they still are. There's something that they're trying to achieve, but here's the thing about it is what goes around comes around.
Well, and in God's economy, there's a saying that the wheels of God's justice grind slowly, but they grind
Amen.
Exceedingly fine. So God's watching. We're appealing to him as the judge of the living and the dead to do what is right, and I believe in his time he's going to get that done. All right, listen, I appreciate the call very much, Larry. Thank you for that. Number to call if you want to join our conversation, 888-589-8840. Happy to talk about what you think was the most significant development in 2013, what you see coming down the pike in 2014, any predictions that you have. Glad to hear from you, 888-589-8840. Brian Fisher is my name, program Focal Point. Be right back.